Hey guys, hello everyone, good evening to all. Guys, am I audible and visible clearly? Just let me know quickly in the chat, please. Hi, Yash, Lada, please do not spam in the chat. This chat is for only the asking the doubts and anything question you have. Please do not spam for any other things. Yes, I'm audible and visible. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your confirmation. So my name is Anam Khan. I'm one of the team member at Let's Upgrade, and I welcome you all to the day one of blockchain bootcamp. So this is a 3 days blockchain bootcamp where it will be a 1.5 hour session each day, and I hope you will enjoy this bootcamp and be pro in this language. Start. We will start the boot camp soon. Just let me just give me 5 minutes. We'll explain you everything about the attendance part and everything, so that you can mark your attendance and get the certificate on the day 3 of this boot camp. It is a live boot camp, not a recorded one. You can ask the questions and clear your doubts here itself. And on day 2 and day 3, we'll switch on to Zoom to to increase the interactivity and make the session more engageable, and so that you guys also can solve your question and clear your doubts on the real time basis. So yeah, we'll have a live session, and on day 2 and day 3 we'll switch to Zoom. We'll share the Zoom link on the description box of day 2 and day 3, and also share it on the community the same, so you can join the community to get the Zoom link also. Can you explain more about the student ambassador program? Okay, I will explain about it. Just let me share my screen quickly. So we'll move ahead and explain you everything about that. So yeah, 1 minute, guys. So I hope my screen is also visible to you all. Guys, let's do some chit chat in the chat. From where you people are joining, from which field you are, just let me know in the chat. And also let me know that is my screen is visible to you all. Do help me out to get the internship. Stay connected with us. Join our community. Will you will surely get a chance to crack this also. How will you get the certificate? For the certificate thing, just give me a minute. Jodhpur, Tamil Nadu. Okay. I can see people are joining from many different states. So yeah, it's good to see people coming across from. So I myself from Mumbai, Maharashtra. So we are from Mumbai. Okay, guys. So yeah, guys, here in the description box, here you can see for registration, attendance, certificate, for everything we have one link. We call it as a one link, and here you can see this link. Click on this link and you will be redirected to the page where you enroll yourself for this bootcamp. Scroll down the page. Here you can see mark attendance toggle beside the day one title. Here you have the rating scale on 0 to 10. You can rate according to yourself how much you like the session, you enjoyed or not. You can put it here, and for now I'll give 10 on 10. And here is a feedback option, like if you have any feedback for us, any improvement you want from like us to improve, you can put it here, and we'll surely apply it and solve it out. And here is the Discord and community channel, this WhatsApp channel link. You can join us there to get regular updates, daily invites, and upcoming boot camps links. And also you can give us suggestion what bootcamp you want from us to schedule in the future. So yeah, and here is a Postman API challenge going on, where we are running the challenge of earbuds. Like you have to complete the course and you will be eligible to win the earbud, smartwatch, gaming keyboard, and also the iPad. We the iPad winner will announced in December, in somewhere in December. This challenge for iPad, the challenge will be for 3 months. So yeah, but every month we distribute Alexa, Amazon Echo, a smartwatch, and earbud, so you can join, complete the course for and be eligible for this giveaways. And here is the student ambassador program. It is a 1 month program. It is a free of course, no charge, nothing. You do not have to pay a single penny to register into this, and you get the chance to attend workshops there, exclusive workshops. You get the swags upon completion of this program, and you also get the like coupons, and games. We also host games there, so it will be a good program that you can, and also you can add the certificate on your resume that you have been the ambassador for Let's Upgrade. And yeah, anything else, if you want to know more about this program, apply for this student ambassador program and join the community. Our team will help you out to know more about this. And also we have this all-in-one documentation. Here we have stored everything for you people, like from the doc link, attendance links, session links, and notes which we have prepared for you people. You can refer it anytime. So these are the links for doc, attendance, session links, and this is the notes which we prepared for you people. You can save this link and use it in your future. And if sir shares any of the resources or PDF, we'll surely upload this in the same doc. So you have to not like find it, save so many of links, just one link and you can find everything here itself. So for this bootcamp we have Prasant sir, who will be your trainer for next 3 days, who will be with you to teach the blockchain. And if you guys any queries, anything you want to know, so we'll surely help you out. And if you guys have any doubt for now, like for attendance and everything, you can ask us here in the chat. Moderators will be there to help you people, and I have also shared the attendance link in the chat box. So we'll call up that sir here for you people. Hi sir, good evening. Hello sir.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening sir. So how are you sir? All good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm also doing good, sir. So, sir, you can start the session. I will hand over the session to you, and you can also share the brief. What are we going to learn in this 3 days boot camp, and what are we going to cover in this thing? Okay. So I will take a
Okay.
leave. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so hey, everyone. Good evening. Hope all of you all are doing great. So, welcome back again, everyone, to the blockchain session. So, this is a blockchain bootcamp where we will be able to go through and understand a lot of different aspects of the blockchain technology, how it's important, what are all the different things we have to consider, and how this technology is evolving, what are all the benefits you're going to learn from this technology. So we will be able to go through and we'll try to cover all of these things in a better way so that you all can understand it and can be able to implement it appropriately. So that's going to our that's our end goal which we are going to do. So today is our day one. Definitely you're going to learn some basics with regards to it, and then we will move on to tomorrow, day two, and then day three. So once we complete the 3 days of the session, you all will be in a very good position to understand what exactly is blockchain technology and how you can be able to implement, and what are all the different areas in which we can be able to utilize so that you all can be able to like handle it in a better way. So those are the things which I'm going to cover as part of our 3 days. So don't need to worry. I'm going to cover all the important topics so that you all will get a better clarity, and then we can all be able to move forward. Okay. So that's our end goal. And let's go ahead and get started without any further delays. Let me share my screen. I'll give you a high level overview of what we are going to cover for today, and then we will enter into the topic and we'll try to understand everything in detail. And if there are any questions, I'll take it up accordingly, and we'll go as simple as possible, assuming that you are not aware of the blockchain technology. I'm going to start from very basics. Okay, and then gradually we will be able to move forward. So do not worry about the speed. Do not worry about that whether I will start from the middle or not. I'm going to start from very basics. The speed will be very low so as to make sure that you all understand this technology to the maximum extent. Okay, so don't worry about any of these aspects, and it's going to make your life much easier when you learn a technology like blockchain. So without any further delays, let me go ahead and then give you a high level overview of what we are going to cover today, and then gradually we will be able to move forward with the topics. So give me a minute, let me share my screen quickly, and then we all can be able to move forward. Okay, hope my screen is visible to all of you. Right, I hope my screen is visible. Okay, I could see that it is visible very clearly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Fine. So before we deep dive and then proceed further, okay, like what is blockchain and understanding the different aspects of the technology. So just want to give you all a very quick overview. So let me say, when you say blockchain, okay, I know that many of you are already aware that what exactly is blockchain technology, right? So some of you would have heard about this technology somewhere, but you're not very clear about it. Some of you would have heard in other places, like what exactly is blockchain is about. Right? Different places, like where people would have got to know what this blockchain is all about. But again, some of you may be very clear about it. Some of you are not even aware like what exactly this is. But yes, you got an understanding that what it is, but you don't have a clarity. Okay, what is blockchain? Where we have to use it? What is its significance? How it is going to be useful? Okay, I know some of you are aware of it, but some of you may not be aware of it. But one thing I want to make it very clear to you, all of you here, is whenever you refer to a term called as blockchain, okay, first of all, this blockchain is a technology, like how you have your data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, internet of things. All of those are technologies, right? Augmented reality, virtual reality. In the same way, you have also a technology called as the blockchain. So blockchain is also another technology, like same as like how you have other technologies available in the market. In the same way, you have blockchain as one of the technology. Now, where and all I can use blockchain, what is its significance, how it is important is something which we all should be able to understand on our own, because that is very important. So to understand this blockchain as a technology, what we need to do here is I want to let you all know in this case, one of the very important point is blockchain's main purpose here is to provide security. Okay, blockchain as a technology, when you talk about the very purpose of this blockchain as a technology is to ensure that it is providing a good amount of security. Now, to whom? To whom should the blockchain be able to provide the security? Okay. So camera stop. Just a, okay. So if you see here, right, to whom are we going to see? Like at the end of the day, when you see security here, okay. So when you talk about the security, one thing I just want to let you all know here that security for the data. So today data is like an asset. Without data, there is nothing. Everything is data. The moment you step into the internet, everything is a data world, right? So if you are not protecting the data in a better way, then somebody else will control your data. It's as simple as that. As long as you're able to protect your data, you are the winner in the market. The moment somebody comes and takes away the data from you, then you are not the winner. I mean, like, then people can control your data and they can play around with that data in whatever they want it, which is a very high risk. Which is a very high risk. So today the problem is you have a lots of data in the market. It may be personal data, it may be any non-personal data, any type of a data it may be. In the market, there is a huge amount of data which is available. So what we need to think through here is we are looking for the ways or for the approaches where we can protect this data to the maximum extent. And for that, we need some support. For that, we need some help where we can protect the data to the maximum extent. So we are looking for different alternatives or approaches to make sure that we protect our data to the maximum extent. And one among them here is the blockchain technology. So blockchain technology today says that you don't worry. If you have any data present with you, you do not need to worry about it. Blockchain as a technology, I'm going to go ahead and try to protect your data to the maximum extent so that your data will not be taken away by anybody else. I am going to give you that guarantee where I will secure and protect your data so that even if anyone comes and tries to take away the data apart from you, so that I will not give the permission for them to do it. Nobody can snatch your data except you. That's what blockchain technology is. So many people, they get confused when we ask about what is blockchain. They say a lot of things. Actually, there is nothing as a lot of things in this technology. One thing which you should be aware is when you talk about blockchain, it's about security. What are you securing? The data. So we want to secure the data to the maximum extent so that it doesn't go to the wrong hands, or somebody is not misutilizing your data at the end of the day. Because today data is an asset. As long as you're able to protect your data, you're strong in the market. If you're not in a position to protect the data, right, then you are ultimately not going to survive in the market. For an example, let us say you have a bank account. Now you have some money in your bank account which is confidential and secret. That should not be shared with anyone until and unless if you go and say to somebody, then that will be taken into consideration. But otherwise, nobody should have the grant or permission to see the bank details of yours. That should not be eligible at all. Okay, but now if your banking personal details like your bank account number, your password, your account balance, if that is getting shared with others, is it acceptable? Obviously, I know you will say no, it is not acceptable because that's your personal account, your money, you should only be able to have it. Why should others should have the control on it? Right? So if those type of things are happening, then you will never believe the system. Right? And if somebody is coming and taking away those type of sensitive data, right, then you will be really feeling afraid. You're really going to feel really sad that how you're going to handle the things. So that is the reason why we are thinking that how we can integrate the blockchain technology where it can protect our data, ensuring that it can enhance our security so that no third party or an intermediary can come and try to attack the data. Even if they wish to do it, they will not be able to handle that because of the blockchain technology. So this is something which I'm trying to look into, where I can utilize the blockchain as a technology to secure as much data as I can. That is actually the essence of the blockchain technology, which you all should be basically aware of. This is what is the technology. Rest of the things like cryptocurrency, smart contracts, applications, those are all different things. That we will go into all of those details slowly. But before you enter into all of those aspects, right, the very fundamental thing which every one of you should be very much clear about here is when I say blockchain technology, the very purpose of it here is to secure the data so that no third person can come and try to attack your data without your permission. And even if they wish to come and attack, they cannot be successful. Reason being, blockchain technology will stop them first. So blockchain technology is adding one more layer to your data, saying that if you really want the data, then try to break me as a technology. After that only you will get an access to data. It is acting like a shield, saying that first you attack me, then we will see whether you will be able to get access to data. That is your blockchain technology. First of all, this is the clarity which everyone should actually be able to have before you go ahead and dig deep and get to know a lot of different things about blockchain technology. This is the first thing which every one of you should be having as a clarity. What many people will say when we say blockchain, they will see a lot of great things, but the very fundamental thing of the blockchain technology is being missed out, the one which I explained to you now. So that is the reason I want to take some time out and give you the clarity that this is what is your blockchain technology and here is where this is going to fit. Okay? So now, one clear thing I just want to highlight here is, let me say in this scenario, Great. Okay, blockchain technology is able to provide security to the data and it is going to protect. Great. But are we not having any other mechanisms before this? See, blockchain technology, I think many of you would have heard this for the first time now. Some of you would have heard 2 years back, 1 year back, 5 years back, right? Somewhere or the other, you would have heard about this technology for sure. But now it's not a very old technology, blockchain is. It came very recently, and when many of you have also got to know these details also very recently. Now here I want to highlight to all of you is, when you talk about blockchain technology, it's a very latest technology, I would say. Then my question is, when if it is the latest technology, okay, great, we are protecting the data, we are we are ensuring that nobody else will take away the data except us. Great. But how about early 2000s? How about in the 2010? How about in the 2015? In all of those years when there was no blockchain, then are we not protecting the data? Then if we are protecting the data at that time, then why all of a sudden now blockchain is needed? Can't we go with the same process of what we were using in early 2000s, 2010 and 15 in those areas or in those years? Whatever security mechanisms we were using to protect the data, is it not resilient enough for us to go ahead with the same approach even in 2024? Is a question which we need to question ourselves. Like, are we not able to go ahead and handle the same things? So now the point to be noted here is, see, here also we were protecting the data. It's not like right now all of a sudden, oh, we got to know that, okay, let's protect data. No, it's not like that. We were protecting the data even before also. Even when .com, which is your internet, came, right, from that day to till today, we are still protecting the data. Yeah, in some cases the data is getting leaked. In some cases we are able to protect the data in a better way, but still, like, we were able to protect the data. But now the problem is the hackers who are there in the market, right, their infrastructure is increasing rapidly. I mean, the amount of power which they are generating is very high, that they are able to attack the data in a very quick time. So now you say, no, I will use the technology which I was using for security in early 2000s, 2010, then that is not going to work. It will definitely protect your data, but for a very less time. So hackers are increasing their computation power or their speed, and they're able to come and attack the data in a very, very quick succession. At a very quick pace, they're able to go and try to take away the data, whatever is present. Now you will still say, no, I will use my old security concepts. I will still go with that. Then you cannot survive in the market. Due to which, when we understood that hackers are increasing their computation power, their speed, their level of doing the things, that is when we understood that, okay, if we are not going to protect the data in a better way, or if we are not going to bring a better technology into the market, then I think hackers will control the entire data and we will lose in the market. That is when early 2020s you heard about blockchain came into the picture, and today blockchain is protecting the data in such a way that so that nobody can come and try to attack it. So now you got to know, right, even though there are security concepts before, but still, yeah, so even though there are a lot of security concepts before, but still we are ensuring that we are able to protect our data to the maximum extent. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, even though there are so many security mechanisms before, but today the hackers have increased their computation power. So we definitely need to think through a way where we can protect our data to the maximum extent by using the latest technology to counter the hackers who are trying to take away the data. So that is when we introduced blockchain technology in the early 2020s to make sure that we're protecting the data to the maximum extent. So this is the clarity which you all should basically be able to maintain. So do not have the confusion that, okay, I am saying that blockchain is protecting or securing the data. Then are we not protecting the data before blockchain technology? The answer is yes. But those security concepts have right now become little outdated. So as hackers are increasing their speed, we also need to increase the technology in such a way that even though they increase their speed, they cannot come and attack our data. And blockchain today is going to take the control of that, ensuring that nobody can come and try to attack whatever data they wanted. That's the level of security which the technology is providing. And that is the reason it is having a very wider scope in the market. Now, say me one thing. Now, I know you all will be thinking, as you all are students, right? You all know that, okay, can I get placed if I learn blockchain technology? Can I get some internships? Or can I be able to really survive in this technology? Is there the scope for this technology? Is it really been implemented in the organizations? Now, these type of questions will definitely come up in your mind, which is absolutely right. That's okay. These type of questions should definitely come into your mind. So now I will say one simple thing to you. Okay, whether the blockchain is in demand or whether if it is in scope or whether organizations are using or not, you will answer it. I will not answer. You yourself will be able to answer it too. So let's say one thing. You take any organization in the world, it may be Google, Microsoft, you take Uber, you take Swiggy, you take your Facebook, you take your TCS or your Infosys or Capgemini, any organization, product based or service based startup, you take any organization in the world, one thing definitely you know, that every organization at the end of the day, what do? They create the product. Now, every product is going to have a lot of data with it. Some of the data is in public domain. Some of the data will be confidential or private, which cannot be shared with anyone. Like for an example, you know Coke, right? The drinks. So now when you drink the Coke, you will see that there is a very good taste. But nobody knows the formula of creating that. Otherwise, everyone will create it. That is a confidential data. So in the same way, every product will have some confidential data which should not be shared with anyone. Otherwise, the essence of the product will be lost or the uniqueness of the product will be lost. That is the reason you take any organization in the world, every organization will deal with data in some or the other way. Now imagine if this organization data is getting leaked always or it is hacked always. Will you be ever interested in this organization? Take for an example, you are taking the services of X organization. They ask you to provide your first name, last name, your email ID, and the password. You provided all the details. On the next day, you got to know that this organization got hacked and all its data got leaked. So say me one thing, next time will you come and try to utilize again this organization anymore? Definitely the answer will be no. The reason being, you lost the trust in the process. You trusted this X organization, assuming that they will do a great job for you, but unfortunately, they did not do any great job. So, what is happened over here is whatever trust you had previously, now the moment the data got hacked or leaked, right, the trust is gone. So now you will no more believe, even though they may do wonders, but still you will always have that fear that this organization may at any point of time get hacked. So the moment the data is getting hacked, that means your personal or confidential information is taken care by somebody else. So ultimately, you are losing trust in the process here. Ultimately, you are losing the trust in the process overall, which is actually not a good practice. So now every organization, they don't want to fall into this category. That is the reason all the organizations in the world is implementing blockchain technology to the maximum extent so that they can protect the data and they don't want to lose their customers. They don't want to lose their investors. They don't want to lose their stakeholders. Because once the trust is lost, right, everyone will go away. Nobody will believe your organization. And when will the trust be lost? When you are selling the data of your customers to somebody else, or when somebody is coming and attacking your platform and taking away the data from your platform, then that means you're not doing a great job. So definitely every organization as of today in the market is looking for blockchain technology to be implemented so that they can protect their data to the maximum extent so that no one can be able to attack the data, because blockchain technology will act like a shield and it will make sure that nobody can actually come and attack the data, whatever may be the scenario. So this is the clarity which we all should basically be able to maintain overall here. Okay. So that is the reason every organization is in a need of blockchain. Now you cannot say only one or two organization. No, every organization generates data. It's every organization responsibility is to protect the data. And to protect the data, you need blockchain technology. So every organization at the end of the day is leveraging the blockchain technology. So if you wish, okay, if you wish, I would just say here to all of you, let me say, okay. So if you wish and say here Google blockchain, okay, just say Google blockchain, put any dream company of yours, it will show you. See, Google has its own blockchain node engine. That means Google is actively working on the blockchain. In the same way, you can go with, after Google, you can go with your Amazon. Okay, so you can say here Amazon. See, in this case, Amazon has its own blockchain called as the Amazon managed blockchain, where they are controlling the entire blockchain in the globe. Okay, and then you can say here Facebook. Okay, so let's see what they are doing. See, Facebook has its own cryptocurrency called as the Libra cryptocurrency, which is totally been created on top of the blockchain platform. Okay, so they also are working on the blockchain very extensively. Now you take again here Microsoft. So Microsoft again has its own blockchain. Okay, it also has its own blockchain solutions, which we call it as the Web3 solutions. Okay, Azure Blockchain Development Kit. So you take any organization, every organization is using blockchain in their own way. You take Deloitte. Okay, you take Deloitte and say Deloitte blockchain. See, Deloitte has its own blockchain services. Okay, it is also working on the blockchain platforms and it has its own platform here. And then you say now TCS blockchain. Okay, TCS named as a leader in enterprise blockchain. See, every organization, I'm just naming few, but if you have some good time, you can just go ahead and can check all of these details. Like again, I can just go with Infosys. Okay, you can just put any company and you can see every company is working on the blockchain technology. Every organization. So this is letting you know that you have a lot of scope if you know this technology. You take any company. I'm not saying that whatever companies I provided, only you see that. You take any organization in the world, every organization is working towards the technology. Why? Because everyone wants security. Everyone wants to protect the data. As long as you protect the data, you will be the one who is going to rule the market. If you're not able to protect the data, then you will be the loser in the market. So definitely it has a very wider scope in the market. It has a very, very good scope. If you know this technology, you will really have a very good opportunities, I would say, to all the students. Okay, or to all the participants, I would say that you have really very good amount of scope, provided if you know all the things, whatever is happening within the blockchain technology. And the pay wise also, it gives you very good amount of pay scale and you have a very good amount of scope. At least for the next 15 to 20 years, you don't need to look back, because this technology is going to at least survive that much amount of time and even more than that, to protect your data so that nobody can be able to snatch or take away the data from you. So these are the understandings first you should be knowing before you learn what is blockchain, what are all the different things being present inside. So I've given you a clarity now. Blockchain is a technology where it ensures that it can secure the data. Okay, it will act as a shield, ensuring that nobody can take away the data without the permission from you. So before that also we were using security mechanisms, but they were not so strong. That is the reason we came to one of the strongest technology like blockchain, where it can protect your data and make sure that nobody can take away the data from you. As hackers were increasing their speed, we also tried to bring up a great technology into the picture, that is our blockchain technology. Okay, ensuring that nobody can take away the data. And then, as I said you, every organization today is utilizing a lot of data. So to protect that, we need blockchain technology. We have seen some examples right now where I've shown you that how different organizations are able to leverage this blockchain technology to the maximum extent. We have seen Deloitte, TCS, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft. Like this, you can see any of your dream company. everybody is contributing towards this blockchain technology to gain the trust of the customers, to gain the trust of the stakeholders, to gain the trust of the investors. Okay, that's how they have been able to take it further. Okay, and due to which it has a very wider scope in the market. Due to all of these things, you can see that there is a very wider scope in the market and things are being going in a better direction, I would say. So these are all are the points which you should be knowing before you dig deep and know a lot of things, because these are the basic things which many people lack. They don't even know why they are learning. They don't even know where it is going to be useful. They don't even know whether there is a scope for the technology or I don't want those misunderstandings or miscommunication to you all. So that is the reason I want to first give you a clarity that what you are going to learn, where it is going to be useful, and how organizations are using it, whether there is a scope or not. This is going to give you an interest that, okay, now I know where we are. So let me go and learn it. That's going to give you a better clarity. Any questions on whatever I have explained right now? Are we all clear with whatever I have explained to all of you? Any questions from anyone specifically you want to call out with whatever we discussed? Hope that you all have understood whatever the clarity I have provided right now. Right? So I think, I mean, you all have a better clarity of whatever I was able to explain to you all. Okay. So let me also see for the YouTube if there are any questions. Okay. No. Cool. Okay. That's good. So just a minute. I think my screen sharing. Yeah. I'm again sharing it my screen. Okay. So hope that you all were able to get whatever concepts I explained to you all right now. Okay, so this is all about the concept. Now I'm going to take you to the presentation. So in the presentation, if you see the agenda, right? So the agenda here in this scenario is like we will be able to go through. Okay. So as part of the agenda, we'll understand what is blockchain. I've given you right now the understanding of that. What is blockchain? So you know blockchain is going to play a very important role where it can provide security to all different types of data, whatever you want. Okay, then we'll understand what is blockchain technology, how it's going to work, why blockchain is important, what are the key components available, what is the mining and consensus algorithm, what are the different types of blockchains, like what is the permissioned blockchain and then permissionless blockchain. And then we'll understand the smart contracts, the limitations or challenges, what is the future of the blockchain technology, and then finally the conclusion. Okay, this is just to let you know that this is the agenda which we are going to cover right now. So let's go ahead and understand. So first of all, let's get to know what is blockchain. So by this time, I know that you all have a better clarity of what exactly is blockchain, right? So as you know, blockchain is a very powerful technology which is going to allow you for all your data to be secure. And it is also providing you a very safe place where nobody can tamper the data. For an example, if this is your blockchain, okay, and you store the data inside it, that means it has become secure. It is a very safe one. And one more advantage here is the moment you add the data into the blockchain, right? Then after that, nobody can be able to edit. Okay, you cannot edit, neither you can tamper. Tamper means edit only. Okay, so no one can edit or tamper the data once the data is added into the blockchain, right? So that indicates that nobody is allowed to go ahead or edit or tamper that data. Whatever may be the scenario, you are not allowed to edit or tamper the data. So now you say, I am the owner, right? Can I do? No, even though you are the owner or even though you are the viewer, you cannot be able to edit or tamper the data the moment the data is added into the blockchain. Okay, that data can be your certificate, that data can be your graduation certificate, or the data can be your mark list, the data can be research paper, That data can be semester paper, anything it may be. Any data which you add it into the blockchain, once you add it, it becomes tamper proof and you cannot be able to edit. So you are not being given the chance to edit or tamper the data. That is the reason you have to be extra cautious and careful that whatever the data you are adding into the blockchain. Because the moment you add the data into the blockchain, after which you will not be given the permission to edit or tamper the data, whatever may be the scenario. Either you may be the owner, still you cannot be able to change that data. So be very careful before you add any data into the blockchain. After that, nobody is allowed to change the data. That is how you are increasing the transparency. Okay, that is how we are increasing the transparency. For an example, let me say, if anybody can come and try to edit or manipulate the data, then what is the purpose of it, right? So anybody, then anybody will come and they will try to copy the data in whatever way they want it, and that is not a good practice. Like basically, that's not a good practice. If anybody wishes to come and try to take away the data, and if they are manipulating the data, then what is the purpose of using blockchain technology? So we are using blockchain technology in such a way that once you add the data into the blockchain, nobody can tamper the data, even the owner of the data also. That is how transparency is increasing. Because once the data is added, you're not giving permission to anyone to tamper the data or manipulate the data. That is how we are bringing transparency and ensuring that, okay, any data which is available in the blockchain is going to be very safe. No one can tamper that data. And on top of that, this data will also be decentralized. Now, what is decentralized? Decentralized means, for an example, let me say you one thing. See, all the data, if it is stored in one single central server. Okay, I have a lot of data and everything I kept it in one single central server. This is what we call it as the centralization. This concept, we call it as the centralization concept, where you have one single central server. Okay. And what is going to happen here is in this central server only, everyone will try to add the data. Now, this central server will be having an admin also who is going to take care of this server. So now this admin can have the entire control and can manipulate the things in whatever way it can be. Nobody can question because admin has the entire authority or access. So admin can always be able to go ahead and manipulate the data in whatever he or she wants it. And this is a very big problem. And on top of that, we have one single central server. If any of the unforeseen situation occurs, then this server will be gone. And then what will you be able to do? You cannot do anything then. That is the reason blockchain gets rid of the centralization concept altogether. It says decentralized. That means, for an example, now I'm sharing this content to all of you. Imagine that there are around 1,000 people. So this content will be shared to all the 1,000 people who are there in the network. Nobody is the owner of it. Everybody will be able to see the same content available with them. That is what we call decentralized model. So whosoever is active in the network, right? Everybody will have the same set of data being replicated across the system. That's what we call it as the nodes. Okay, node is nothing but the one who is using a computer or a laptop. That is a node. So if there are 1,000 people in the network, all the 1,000 people will get the same data. If there are 500 people in the network, all the 500 people will be able to get the same data. That is a decentralized. Instead of giving to one person and saying that you have all the data, then people will come and see from you. That's not the practice we are going to follow in blockchain. That is a centralized model. But we don't want that. What we want here is we want to make sure that whatever decentralization says is anybody who is there in the network try to replicate the data to everybody so that they will look into all the information whatever they want rather than coming to a central location and seeing all the data from there, because the central location has a lot of problems. Admin can manipulate the data at any point of time. The server may go wrong and that can create a big problem. In the decentralized world, what is happening? Data is getting replicated to all the nodes which are there in the network. So everyone is the owner of it. And if anybody wants to change anything, at least majority approval is needed. So for an example, if there are 1,000 people and if somebody wants to change anything, they at least need to get 51%, 501 people approval to do anything. But here in the central server, that is not the case. Admin can go and control everything because admin has a super access and nobody will ever get to know what is happening at the back end. So we don't want a process where there is no proper transparency. That is the reason blockchain suggests these key things. Blockchain says, you give me any data, I will store that in my blockchain. Don't worry. I can protect as much as I can. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure that any data which is available in the block, okay, I'm going to protect it in such a safe and in a transparent way that nobody can attack it. How? As I said you, the moment you add your data, you cannot edit, neither you can tamper. Either you are a hacker or you're the owner, anyone you may be, that you're not allowed to tamper the data, or you're not allowed to edit the data, which in return increases the transparency. And on top of that, this data is getting replicated to all the people who are there in the network. And even if anybody wants to do any change, they need to give at least 51% approval for us to move forward. Otherwise, we cannot be able to move ahead. So this is the clarity which we all should basically be able to maintain overall. That's how the entire mechanism is going to stay strong. So today, what are all the topics you got to know? One, you got to know that the blockchain is securing the data to you in a very safe way. The moment you add the data into the blockchain, you cannot edit, neither you cannot tamper that data. In that way, you are increasing the transparency in the system. And on top of that, it is decentralized as opposed to the centralization concept, where you have a central server, admin takes the control of everything. So we don't have this model. Instead, we go with a decentralization where we say every data is going to replicate across all the nodes or all the people who are there in the network active. And if anybody wants to change anything, at least they need to take majority approval for them to move forward, which is 51%. Otherwise, you cannot be able to move ahead. Okay. So this is the point which you all should be able to understand. So now, what is the importance of this technology? The importance of this technology is that it is increasing trust. See, it is increasing trust. Today, blockchain is working in such a way that because it has the power to increase the trust and make the process more efficient. That is the reason it is considered as a very transformative technology. You can say that this is a transformative technology where it is transforming the level of security which needs to be provided for your data. Today, it has a very strong relevance or importance in the market because of the trust which it is increasing, because of the way how it is protecting the data, because of the decentralization, because of not allowing anybody to edit or tamper the data once the data is added into the blockchain. These are all are the properties which is making the end users to think and then utilize the blockchain technology so that the trust can be increased and nobody can come and try to attack the data at the end of the day. That is how this technology is becoming much relevant in the today's market. Okay, the objective is to again learn about what is the basics of blockchain technology, how it is going to work, why it matters. That's something which we are going to learn, and we will be able to move forward. Agenda I already explained to you right at the very start of the session. This is the agenda. So from this slide, you all should know that today we are protecting the data using blockchain. We are handling the data in such a way that nobody can edit or tamper the data, even if it is an owner or viewer, no one can change the data. And on top of that, we are decentralizing the data where the data is getting distributed to all the people who are there in the network. Okay, so as to make sure that they are all the owners of this data rather than giving anybody the chance to tamper the data. Okay, and if anybody wants to do anything, at least 51% approvals. And then you also have trust. Why this is important? Because the importance of the technology, it is increasing the trust and transparency as a transformative technology where it is transforming the level of security in the today's market to the best extent so that nobody can tamper the data, whatever may be the reason. Okay, so these are all are the points which you should be knowing from this particular slide. Okay, hope that you all have understood that what exactly this is. So now taking you to the next one, let's understand the blockchain technology. Okay, like how it is important. See, think of blockchain as a special kind of a record keeping system where it stores all your information like transactions within blocks. And these blocks are all linked together. Like I would say here, this is the best example. Okay, imagine here that these are your blocks. If you see here, these are basically your blocks. Now within these blocks, you are going to store all the transactions. Like you do cryptocurrency transactions like Bitcoin transactions or Ethereum transactions or the Litecoin, any transactions you do, all of those transactions are going to be stored within the block. And this is how your blocks will look like. And you see here, these are your numbers like 1, 2, 3, whatever you see here, right? These are your block number. So technically we call it as the block height. Okay. So technically we refer this as the block height. So whatever the numbers you are able to see here, right? These are your block height, which we generally call it as. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, whatever you are able to see in this scenario, this is what we actually call it as our block height. Okay, so now when you call this as your block height, okay, then what is that which is stored in the block then? The data here is your transactions. Okay, in the data, you are going to see that all your transactions are set to be stored. Okay, and all of these blocks are linked to each other. They are all linked to each other. Why they are linked to each other is, just to let you know, for an example, see, if imagine like a normal chain, you take a normal chain, forget about blockchain, you take a normal chain, right? If you try to break that chain, it is very difficult. Why? Because every link is interlinked. And even if you try to break it also, you will be able to get to know where the link has been broken, because every link is interlinked. Same concept here also. We want to connect all the blocks in such a way that if anybody wants to attack or break anything, right, we should be able to detect that where this attack is occurring. And we also want to make the hacker life difficult. For an example, if a hacker comes and attacks block number 2, not only block number 2 the attacker has to attack, even the next blocks which are associated with also should be attacked. That means block number 3, 4, 5, because these are all linked to each other. When all of these are linked to each other, that means you are making the hacker life difficult, saying that, hey, if you are breaking block 2, as block 2 is linked to 3 and 3 to 3 linked to 4, 4 linked to 5, so every block you have to go ahead and then try to like make sure that they are all recalculated and make it successful, and that is going to make the hacker life really extremely difficult. That's why we are increasing the level of security and transparency. That is the reason we are interlinking each other. So why we have this term blockchain here? Everything is a block. Then why chain? Because we want to make the technology work in such a way that it is all interlinked to each other in the form of a chain, so that nobody can come and try to break the flow. We can make sure that the entire flow is being taken in such a way that even if anybody wishes to come and try to attack, they will not be given the chance to go ahead and do any such type of activities. And even if they wish to do it, the remaining blocks which are linked to each other, right, will not allow them to move forward, because they are all interlinked to each other. That is the significance of the blockchain. In every block, you are going to have your transactions present. That is your data. Now coming to hash. Basically, what is a hash? Hash is nothing but, before you know hash, if I ask you, how do you identify as a unique person when compared to others? So some people will say my Aadhaar card, some people will say fingerprint, some people will say DNA, agreed. But let's say every one of us have a individual or a unique fingerprint, right? All of us have a unique fingerprint. In the same way, every block has a unique fingerprint, and that is their hash. That is their identity. Like how we have our fingerprint as our identity, as a unique identity, right? My fingerprint will not match with you. Your fingerprint will not match with somebody else. In the same way here, every block is having its own fingerprint. That is what we call it here as the hash. Hash here is a unique identity, okay, where it is going to ensure, okay, hash here is a unique identity, like how we have our fingerprint as our unique identity. Every block here is having a unique identity in the form of the hash, so that nobody can basically be able to tamper the data. That is actually the significance of a hash. Okay, now how these are interlinked to each other? First block hash will become the second block previous hash. And second block is going to have its own identity, that is its own hash. Now second block hash will become the third block previous hash. That means these are all linked in the backward direction. Okay, what I'm trying to say is whatever the hash which is there in the first block will become the second block previous hash. In this way, both are interlinked to each other in the form of a chain. And then again, second block will have its own hash. Now, third block, second block hash will become the third block previous hash, and they are interlinked to each other like a chain. And then again, third block will have its own hash. Like this, it is like a linked list. We call this as a linked list where every block here is interlinked to each other so that nobody can be able to tamper the data. And this interlinking today is happening because of the help of the previous hash. Whatever interlinking is happening today, right? It is been happening with the help of the previous hash. Today, previous hashes are interconnecting all these blocks in such a way that even if anybody wishes to come and change any of the data, that person has to attack the other blocks which are interconnected to each other, where you're making the hacker life very much difficult in the process. So this is the overall clarity which you all should be able to maintain. Now, the very first block, only the first block, okay, not the remaining blocks. The very first block inside the blockchain network is called as the Genesis block. Only the first block, okay, not the block number 2, 3 and all. The very first block within the blockchain network will be called as the Genesis block. And what will be the previous hash of the first block? So as it is the first block, right, there are no blocks before it. So default, your previous hash is 0 here. If you observe here, default, the previous hash is 0 for your first block, which we call it as Genesis. As there are no blocks before to it, right? So obviously it doesn't have any hash. So previous hash is 0. And the first block will have its own fingerprint or its unique identity, which we call it as hash. Then again, second block, previous hash will be the first block's hash. And second block will have its own identity, which is its hash. Then again, the hash of the second block will become the third block previous hash. And again, third block is going to have its own hash. Like this, the chain will keep on going continuously. This is the architecture of the blockchain, which is the main content in the today's session, which is actually the main content. If you know this part, most of the slides will be completed. This is the architecture of the blockchain, which you all should be knowing. This is how blocks will be present. Within these blocks, you are going to see that you are able to store all your transactions within it. Then all of these blocks are interlinked in the form of a chain with the help of the previous hash. Okay, and then every block is having its own unique identity, which we call it as the hash. Like how we have our fingerprint as our unique identity, every block is having its own unique identity, which we call it as the hash over here. And you see the first block doesn't have any blocks before to it. That is the reason previous hash is 0 here. And the very first block here is what we call it as the Genesis block. Okay, like this, you can see very clearly all the data is having a proper interlinking with each other. So this is how you need to understand the various aspects which are being available. So this is the highest level of clarity which you all should basically be able to maintain. Okay, so hope that you all got a clarity. So now if I go back to this slide, you can now understand this blockchain technology. So when you say blockchain, what it is trying to do, it has a list of blocks. Okay, where these list of blocks which are present, right? Now these list of blocks are actually trying to store the list of transactions inside it. And then they are all interlinked to each other with the help of the previous hash. And they have their own identity, which we call it as the hash. That is how the blockchain is getting defined. And that hash is what we call cryptography. Cryptography is nothing but it is a hash only. Okay, do not get confused. Cryptography here is nothing but at the end of the day, that is the hash itself. So that is the clarity we all have to maintain. Now decentralized. Decentralized and distributed both mean the same. Okay. Decentralized and distributed both mean the same. That is, you will not have any central authority to control the things. For an example, let me say today you want to send some digital, okay, like a phone pay or a GPay or any money, you want to send me 100 rupees. Now, can you send me directly to it? The answer is, I know many of you will say yes, but answer is no. Because you have an intermediary called as a bank. Until bank approves, you can do it. If the bank does not approve, then you cannot do the transaction. You may have a lot of balance in your account. But if your bank is under maintenance, if your bank servers are not responding, you are not allowed to do the transaction. That means somewhere or the other, we are very dependent on a third party who are controlling us. So what blockchain technology says us here is, When you say decentralized, there will be no third party or intermediaries in the process. You can just go ahead and can do whatever the transaction you want without the need of any third party or intermediaries in the process. Just it is between you and the other person who are trying to do the transaction. That's it. You don't need to have anyone there in the process. If you want to settle something, just go and settle to the other person. And then again, vice versa. There should not be any third party or intermediary in the process to go ahead and hamper or try to break the system overall. That's not something which we actually needed. Okay, so we don't want those type of activities to basically occur. So I mean, again, at the end of the day, we don't want any such scenarios to actually occur here. So this is the point which we all should basically be aware of. Okay, so this is the clarity which I just want to make sure that you're all aware. So this is how your decentralized nature and your distributed ledger plays a very important role over here. Okay, where it says you should not have any central authority. Everywhere the data should be distributed. Okay, let them take the control of it. Now, if you are sending money to Y, then it should be between X and Y only. Why should somebody come in between and say that I will approve it? Okay, either it is between X and Y and you try to settle the transaction and you're done with your job. Why should somebody be coming in between and then trying to control your entire process, which is not a good step. So we don't want any such things to actually occur. That is what we call decentralized and distributed. Whenever you hear this terminology, you should be very clear saying that, okay, we will not have any third party or intermediaries in the process. Whatever we are going to do will be purely between two different parties, but otherwise we will not have anyone in between to control whatever we want to do. And distributed model says any data which is available, you can distribute it across the network without any challenges. In that way, no single person can control everything. Everybody will equally be the owner. And if anyone wishes to do anything, they need to take at least 51%, which is the majority approval for you to move forward. Okay. And the Google Docs analogy. Google Docs analogy means imagine a Google document where imagine this as a distributed concept. Okay, imagine a Google document where multiple people can view and edit at the same time. So blockchain also works similarly. Okay, where multiple people can access the same information, but unlike Google documents, no one can make the changes without the group agreeing on it. This makes your information very secure and trustworthy. Same as like Google documents. Okay, you can distribute the Google documents to multiple people who are available, or to whomsoever you want to share it. In the same way, blockchain can be shared with multiple people as a distributed concept. Now, in the Google document, you can provide edit access to the people to edit the document. That is done. But in blockchain, as I mentioned already, you cannot give edit access. Yeah, you can definitely give access for people to look into the data. But unfortunately, blockchain does not allow anybody to edit the data, because if we are giving chance for people to edit or manipulate the data, then they will take the entire control and they will do whatever they want it, which we don't want ideally, which we do not want ideally that scenario to occur. So that is the reason this is considered to be one of the important part. Okay. Same as like Google document, you can consider how you can share the Google document to multiple people, right? Where they can view and they can edit. In the same way, you can share blockchain to multiple people. But the only difference is in blockchain, nobody can edit the data. And if they want to do any such edit, they need to take majority of approval, which is 51% approval for you to do anything. Otherwise, you will not be given the permission to edit any data, but you can definitely view the data. Okay. So that is the clarity which okay. So basically, that is the clarity overall, which you all should basically be able to consider in the entire picture. Okay, so this is the concepts which you should all be able to consider over. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I already explained to you the architecture also. I've already given you the architecture where you all got a better clarity that how architecture would actually look like. Okay, now how blockchain works. Now this will become much easier for you a little bit. So what is happening over here? If you see, blockchain is working in such a way that they are all interconnected to each other. That's what we have seen, right? All the blocks at the end of the day is interconnected to each other, so that they can all be present in one single loop. They can communicate, they can talk to each other. And then you are distributing this blockchain to multiple nodes in the network. That means whoever multiple people who are there in the network, right? This blockchain is getting distributed to all of them, because the model works in such a way that it gets distributed to all the people who are there in the network. If there are 100 people, 10 people, 5 people, to all those people, the blockchain will be distributed, so that everybody can be able to go ahead and then try to look into the respective data. That is how it can be very much helpful for us. Now, structure of the block. Structure of the block is nothing but here you see. Okay, you have a data, you have a previous hash, you have the hash. This is the structure of your block. Every block is actually going to have the data field, where within the data they are going to have their all transactions, and then you are going to have your previous hash, which is going to link all your blocks in the form of a chain mechanism, and then you have your hash, which is a unique identity for your respective block. So this is the clarity which you need to know as part of the structure of the blocks. And then coming to transaction process. So what is going to happen whenever a new transaction is made, that will be broadcasted to the entire network. Like for an example, let me say there are 10 people. Okay, that means 10 people means that's nothing but 10 nodes. Now, there are 2 people who are initiating the transaction. Now, this transaction will go to all the 10 nodes. All of these 10 nodes will validate whether the transaction between X and Y is a genuine transaction. And among them, at least if 51% of them, which is majority, out of 10, 51% is 6 nodes. At least if 6 nodes give an approval saying we agree with it, then the transaction will be successful. If 6 nodes reject it, then the transaction will become a failure. So transaction process works in such a way that where any transaction you do, first that will be broadcasted to the entire network, like whatever nodes are available in the network, they will validate your transaction. And once if your transaction is validated successfully, okay, that means once 51% of them give an approval, then only it will be taken into consideration. If not, it will be rejected straightforward then and there. You don't need all the 10 people. At least majority, 51% give approval, your transaction is done. If majority of them reject it, then your transaction is get to be stopped. So you are not giving control to any single central authority here. Instead, you are giving chance for all the people to participate, listen to majority, and then take the approval. That's how the process is going to work here, if anybody wants to do any transaction in the network. Okay. Visibility analogy. Now, visibility means imagine a line where everyone can see each new transaction being added. But once the transaction is added, right, into the blockchain, no one can change it. That is how we are ensuring trust. So what I'm saying is visibility means everyone can see all the transactions, whatever is available in the blockchain. But again, it is only visible, but you are not allowed to edit, or you are not allowed to tamper the data, whatever may be the scenario. You will not be given the chance or the permission to tamper the data, like whatever the chances which are being provided. That is visibility analogy. Okay. So operational means you see that all the blocks are connected to each other, where they are interconnected, and you can distribute this blockchain to multiple nodes in the network. Structure of the blocks are nothing but where you have your data, it's nothing but your transactions. We have your previous hash to connect all the blocks, and then your hash will act here as an identity for each and every block in the network. Then transaction process, as I said, any transaction you do in the network should have the majority approval for you to validate and move forward. Visibility means everyone can see your transactions, but nobody can be able to edit or tamper the data. That is how we are increasing the trust in the process. Okay. So now if you see like the different areas in which you can utilize your blockchain technology, like one, you can use your blockchain technology across different sectors. Okay, like you can make utilize of this blockchain technology in such a way that it is very fast. Okay, it can provide you good amount of trust. It provides you very good amount of security. Okay, so what else do we need? We need a technology where it is giving us all the three things. It's fast. It's providing you trust. It's giving you good amount of security. So why don't we go ahead and implement in all the applications? So in the day three bootcamp, right? We will discuss extensively about where and all you can use the blockchain technology. What are all the different applications in which we can use blockchain technology? We will go into the details of all of them, like supply chain, healthcare sector, education sector, where and all we can use the blockchain technology. We will be able to implement all of them in a very detailed way. But today, you can use blockchain in different applications because of its trust, security, and as well as fastness. That is the reason it is going to have a very great impact in the industry. Like you take your different sectors, as I said, right? Finance sector, healthcare sector. It is going to make your data very, very secure so that nobody can take away the data from. And that in return is bringing in transparency because nobody is allowed to tamper the data. No edit access even to the owner also. That is how we are increasing the transparency by ensuring that nobody can take away the data from anyone in the network. Okay, for an example, if you take about the banking sector, as I said, in the banking industry, blockchain is making the transactions much safer by removing all the middlemen in the network. So you don't need any bank. Okay, if you want to do any transaction between two people, and if you are using blockchain, you can eliminate the bank system overall. If you want to settle the money between X and Y, it should be between X and Y only. Why should somebody as a bank come in between and then settle the payment on behalf of them? That's not going to make a good deal. And that is going to break the entire flow. And we don't want any such things to actually occur. If X and Y wants to settle any payment, let them do it. We don't want any intermediary or third party in the process, and then we are totally or excessively being dependent on them, where they will take the control of whatever we want to do. It is your money. You know whom to send it, then send it and complete it off. And vice versa, Y to X. Why should a bank come in between and then try to settle the deal between you all? So we don't want any such things to actually occur. So we want to eliminate the entire intermediaries who are there in the process. That's how we want to bring the security in the system. Okay. The key components, as I said, we already were able to discuss in the architecture. You remember, right? In the architecture, we understood how the blocks work. So how blocks are interlinked to each other, we were able to discuss. In every block, you are going to see that there will be a list of transactions. Okay. Here you see all the transactions will be present in the data. So whatever data field is available in the blockchain, you will see that all the transactions are going to be present inside it. Okay, and then temporal context. Temporal context means, do not confuse here. It just simply says it's a timestamp. Okay, it is a timestamp. Timestamp means what? At what time the block is inserted into the blockchain network. Right now, the time is 7:47. So for an example, if a block gets inserted into the blockchain network, then the time will be logged here as 7:47 p.m. IST. That's a timestamp, basically. Okay, at what time the block is inserted into the blockchain network, because it will be easier whenever you want to review the data, right? It will be easier for us to refer to the data. So that is nothing but we call it as the temporal context, where the timestamp is taken into consideration. Structure, as you already know, structure is what this is. What is a structure? You have all the blocks. You have your genesis block at the very start, and then you have the remaining blocks. All of these block numbers which you see, right? Technically, we call it as the block height. And then there are transactions present inside it. Everyone has their own identity, which is their hash. Every block is interlinked to each other with the help of the previous hash. And the first block doesn't have a previous hash, which is 0 default, because there are no blocks before to it. So this is the structure of the blockchain, which is being mentioned over here, the structural importance. Only thing what you should know from here is every block is having its own timestamp, so that it is logging the time at which time the block is getting inserted into the blockchain network. That's it. Okay, this is a distributed network. As I was talking, right, as I was explaining to all of you, this is what we call distributed network, where any data which is available in the blockchain is going to distribute across different network or different nodes which are being there in the network. Okay, you don't have a single central server. Like, this is a centralized concept. We don't have any such concept available here. Here, everything is distributed and decentralized, so that nobody can control the data on their own. So everyone is the owner. Everybody is the owner of the data. You cannot say that this person is the main owner. No, everyone is the owner of it. Now, when anybody wants to tamper or when anyone wants to edit or change anything, they need to at least get 51% or majority approval for you to move forward. If you don't get majority approval, right, then you are not allowed to move ahead, whatever may be the scenario. So this is the understanding which you all should basically able to consider. Okay, so that is basically what we actually call it as our distributed network. Okay, so now coming to the types of blockchain. Okay, when you talk about the types of blockchain, in the types of blockchain, right, you have your public blockchain, private blockchain, open versus closed. Now, what exactly this means? See, public blockchain means it is open to everyone. Public blockchain is nothing but it is open to everyone. Anybody can come and try to be part of the network. No restrictions, no limitation. Public blockchains are basically your Bitcoin, right? And then you have your Ethereum. These are all are your public blockchains. That means anybody can come and try to join as part of the network. Okay. So what is going to happen over here in this case is, like you can see, as a public blockchain, anybody who is interested can come and they can be part of the network without any difficulties. That is what we call public blockchain. Coming to private blockchain, right? These are restricted only to a particular group of people. Okay, only a certain group of people only can access it, not everybody else. So this is majorly, private blockchain is majorly used by enterprise or organization where they will allow only certain people or certain amount of people only to access the private blockchain, but not everyone. In the public blockchain, you don't have any restrictions. Anybody can come and they can be part of the public blockchain without any difficulties. Coming to private blockchain, only certain set of people are allowed to move forward, but not everyone. Private blockchains is especially meant in the enterprises or organizations. That's it. Okay, that's how private blockchain will allow only a group of people, whereas your public blockchain can allow anybody who wants to be part of the network. And the example is Bitcoin and Ethereum for public blockchain. For private blockchain, it is your enterprises or organization. Okay, so public blockchain basically focuses on openness. Okay, it basically focuses on openness that anybody can come and try to be part of the network without restricting anybody in the process. That is your operational characteristic. Open versus closed system, if you see, right, public blockchains are like an open library where anyone can enter and can access whatever information they wanted. Private blockchains are more like a controlled corporate network where only authorized people are allowed to enter and use the system. If you have a valid ID, you are allowed to enter into. If not, you are not being allowed. That is how closed system work, which is the example of the private blockchain. Open system works in such a way that it is like an open library. Anybody can enter and can access whatever information they want. And that is basically you can correlate it with your public blockchain. Okay. So right now, if you see here, permissioned blockchain means these are the blockchains where only certain people will be given permission. Now, for an example, okay, so what is going to happen? You're working in your university or in your college, so you will have an ID card. Only you are granted to your university or a college, not everyone. So that is the permissioned part. So permissioned blockchain means you will be given a permission to enter into the blockchain network. Then only you can access. If you're not being given the permission, then you will not be able to move forward. It's more or less like a private blockchain. Permissioned blockchain means you will be you are gonna be given the permission here. You will be given the role. So what role you are, accordingly you will be given the permission and you can enter into the permission blockchain. If not, you will not be able to move forward, whatever may be the reason. You have to be given a permission to move ahead. It's not a public blockchain, it's a permissioned blockchain. Get the permission granted, take a role. If you are a student or if you are a professor or if you're an associate professor, you'll be given a role and accordingly you are being allowed to enter into. That is what you call permissioned blockchain. Now coming to permissionless blockchain, these are open to everyone. Anyone can join, they can validate, they can participate without needing any special permission. Same as like public blockchain. Okay, so where you can allow anybody to come and try to be part of the network. So think of permissioned blockchain like entering a university library, as I said, where the students and staff can be able to go ahead and can be able to access whatever the data they wanted. It's more or less like a public blockchain. Permissioned blockchain, get the permission granted and move ahead. Okay, that is the permission blockchain. And then if you talk about the permissionless blockchain, you don't have any permissions needed, can directly go ahead and access whatever you want, which is more or less like a public blockchain. Okay, so the three key areas which you should know in blockchain is, one is value. So you are achieving value by totally removing the intermediaries. You are totally removing all the third party and intermediaries in the process. That is how you are achieving value in the blockchain system. Then you are gaining trust. How are you gaining trust? You are gaining trust by ensuring that you are not giving the permission to edit any data even to the owner or for anyone who is viewing the data. So you are not giving anyone the permission to go ahead and edit the data, whatever may be the scenario. That is how you are increasing the trust in the process. Reliability. We are increasing the reliability of the blockchain technology by making the model distributed, where you're not putting the data at one single central location and saying that you are the owner of it. No, you're distributing the data across all the different people who are there in the network, so that everyone becomes the owner of it. And then ultimately, until 51% of the approval, that is majority approval, is not provided, you're not been allowed to take any permission, whatever may be the reason. That is how it is much reliable. So these are the points we have to consider, like one, we achieved a greater value or trust, and as well as the reliability. These are all are the points which we were able to achieve today as part of understanding the technology. And the final slide for today here is how the future of the blockchain technology will look like. So this is an emerging technology. This is definitely an emerging technology where it is targeting security, bringing in transparency, totally removing all the third party and intermediaries in the process, so that you can do your job without being dependent on anyone. Okay. Then it is bringing a good amount of innovations into the system, where the new ways of managing the blockchains are getting developed. So they are bringing some good governance models like decentralization, where you don't need to depend on any single central authority. Instead, you can distribute your data into multiple people who are there in the network, so that they all can be the owners. And until majority of them, they don't take approval, you cannot be able to move forward. Like this, we are bringing in some great innovations into the technology by making everyone accountable in the process, rather than giving one single person the entire control or the authority. And then coming to predictions. So if you see, experts believe that the future of the blockchain technology will work very closely with Internet of Things and AI. So going forward, we will like integrate with other technologies like IoT and AI, and then we will be able to take it much in a better way. So that will more decentralize and handle the data in a better way. So future is that blockchain will be able to go and integrate with other technologies, and it is going to make it much stronger in the entire process. Okay, so this is a very emerging technology. It's bringing in great innovations like removing third-party intermediaries, not allowing anyone to edit the data. It's bringing transparency, removing third-party and intermediaries in the system, and bringing the decentralized concept, where you're not allowing any single authority to take everything. Instead, you are distributing it to all the people who are there in the network, so that they will also feel that they're accountable for everything, whatever they are doing it. And finally, predictions. We are predicting that this blockchain technology will go forward and integrate with IoT and AI, and it is going to make the life much easier. Okay. Finally, today we understood really the basics of the blockchain technology. Okay, so you have understood some great concepts of the blockchain technology in different areas, like as we discussed about, right? As I said, it is a secure part, and then you are not allowed to edit the data. And then we learned about distributed concept, right? We learned about decentralized concept. We have seen the structure of the blockchain technology. We have seen the hash. We have seen the previous hash. We have seen what is a permissioned blockchain, what is a private blockchain, what is a public blockchain. All of these things we were being able to segregate it in. Okay. And then the future direction is, again, we will proceed further as part of tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Also, there are topics like smart contracts. Okay, and then we will understand what is Ethereum, then how we can implement the blockchain technology in different sectors. All of these things we will be able to go through as part of our future directions. Today is our day one only. Still, we have 2 more days, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, as part of the blockchain bootcamp. So future directions are like, we will go through Ethereum, we'll understand what is smart contracts, we'll understand the applications of the blockchain technology in different sectors like healthcare sector, supply chain, all of those things we are going to take care of. So with this, I conclude the session for today. Hope that you all have understood whatever I have explained as part of our today's session. So if there are any questions or anything, you can feel free to ask me. But otherwise, I have covered all the fundamental things which each and every one of you should need to understand. So tomorrow, we will go through the remaining aspects, which is about smart contracts and Ethereum topics. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Let me see if there are any questions from anyone specifically. Are there any questions? Because I don't see anything in the chat here. Are there any questions from anyone you want to call out? Okay, I think there are no questions. Let me see in the YouTube ones very quickly if I have anything so that I can. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just checking if there are any specific questions from any one of you. Okay, Genesis means it is the very first block. How we are going to set the nodes. See how we are going to set the nodes. See, that is like a computer which comes into the network, right? That is what we call to set the nodes. Okay, when you said at least 51% permission is required, won't it make creating transactions slow? Yeah, that is also right point, Abhinav, which is a scalability challenge, but that we will discuss in the challenges part. Okay, but that's the right point which you highlighted. Agreed with that. Okay, but it's not going to make very slow, just a fraction of seconds. Okay, for that there is an alternative I will also say. Okay, see, you cannot edit the data for sure. Okay, but if you get majority approval, right, then only you can edit the data. So what I'm saying is, if you have only 1%, 2%, 10%, 50, 30% of the day people allowing you to edit the data, you cannot do. If you really want to edit the data, you at least need to get 51% approval, then only you can edit your data successfully. Okay? That's the point you all have to understand. Totally, there are 3 types of blockchains: public blockchain, private blockchain, permissioned blockchain. Private and permissioned blockchain both are same. Okay. Hash is nothing but it is the unique identity. Like how we have our fingerprint as our identity, hash is the identity for the particular block. Okay. Average is 15 lakhs. Highest salary can go up to 1 crore also. Cryptography is nothing but hash. So it is going to encrypt all your transactions in the block so that nobody can see the exact data of it. That is the purpose of the cryptography. Okay. See, I see I have answered majority. If there is anything pending, we will take it up again in the upcoming sessions. Okay. Glad that you all enjoyed the session. Okay. Glad that you all enjoyed the session. Thanks for all the wonderful feedback. Okay. But yeah, so if there is anything specific again, we will take it up again going forward. Okay. How is data? What if hacker allowed 51%? Yeah, then they will be able to attack. But hacker attacking 51% of the blocks is very challenging. As of today, nothing has happened. Okay. As of today, nobody was able to handle that. Yeah, bye. Thank you, everyone. Okay. How is data stored in a blockchain? So it is through smart contracts. Tomorrow you'll understand it. Okay, we'll cover smart contracts. Through smart contracts, the data is getting stored in a blockchain. That will continue as part of the tomorrow's session. Yeah, we'll discuss Solana, Ethereum, and all tomorrow. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye bye, and take care, everyone.